What's going on, everyone? It's Tay, aka Slay, and I thank you for joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to be using problematic makeup. Now, these are not makeup products that do not perform well. I actually like everything I'm going to be showing. And in some cases, that's kind of sad because I can't support some of these brands anymore. These are not products that ain't shit. These are products from brands or brand owners who are always in some shit. So let's get started. I did my brows off camera because I do not own brow products from a problematic makeup brand. So we're gonna keep that on the hush until I do my video of products and makeup brands I stan. I usually do my eyeshadow before my foundation, but because what I'm going to be using for eyeshadow is probably gonna bring some heat on this baby channel of mine, I'm gonna save it for last. So, for primer, I'm going in with the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. I love this primer. I have very oily skin, and this is one of the only primers that keeps me matte all day. Especially in this heat. It has been a brutal summer here in the streets of New York City, and this has kept my makeup from melting off. Now, with as big a problem that I have with Tarte at the moment, I am willing to overlook my issues with them to continue buying this primer because, one, I won't say it's affordable for me. It's within my budget. There are primers that are less expensive. This is about $32 or $34, but they don't work as well for my skin. Now, the issue with Tarte is that earlier this year, they have, and I will be using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. Because this concealer is thebomb.com, they decided to release Shape Tape Foundation. The problem was, and I'm sure you've seen this all over social media, I think it may have made mainstream news, they released 15 shades in 2 formulas, so it's a total of 30 shades, but they were the same shades in both formulas, the hydrating and the mattifying. But they had like 12 shades of beige, a little bit of tan, a dark caramel, a blackety black. Like, what? That's not a range. What are you doing? So I decided right then and there that I was done with Tarte. Tarte has a reputation of releasing the same palette in different packaging. So I was kind of done with them there. I actually bought the Toasted palette after all of this went down because I just really wanted it. But after that, I was like, no, we're done with Tarte. For foundation, I'm going in with the Huda Beauty Matte Foundation in Mocha 500G. I actually really like this foundation, but after this bottle, I'm probably not going to buy from Huda again because of the whole Beauty Bakery situation. Now, if you don't know, this is looking a little darker on camera. If you don't know, Huda released, and this is precisely why I didn't buy it, Huda released a baking powder. And that's nothing new. Like, there are tons of baking powders, setting powders, if you will, on the market that are amazing. And I'm pretty sure that her powder is amazing. I know Makeup Shayla uses it. But the problem was, Huda's aesthetic is very desert sand, you know, very Lawrence of Arabia, very into her heritage and culture and things like that. But for this baking powder, she came out with this entire campaign with a 50s housewife vibe. Now, this brand will be in my video for brands that I stan, and people accused Huda of biting off of Beauty Bakery's entire, I want to say aesthetic again. She bit off her entire everything that brand is based on has to do with baking, with flour, with cake and cookies and things like that. So people are like, but it's a baking powder. Yeah, but you couldn't come up with anything else. Like, you could have, bite off a Arm & Hammer and, with their baking soda, something. Like, you could have done something else. I know this is looking really weird on camera, but... And another thing with Huda Beauty, aside from the whole Beauty Bakery scandal, there was a shot on their Instagram with a makeup artist who did the blank canvas thing that James Charles did, and to show the range of this foundation, which comes in has a great shade range. Like, Huda really did do that, but the artist that was in that Instagram photo was basically in blackface. You already have a brand who rarely uses women of color in their campaigns and on their Instagram. They don't use men that wear makeup at all. And she's like, oh, well, people are like, oh, well, she lives in Dubai and it's against the law. Homosexuality is against the law out there, so that's probably why. It's like, but you have an international brand, so you need to think more globally. Just saying. Then she didn't even really address it, especially like with the Beauty Bakery thing. She did this whole Instagram video on IGTV. We're going back in the Tarte Shape Tape, where she was explaining where they came up with the aesthetic and the idea for the campaign and everything. It's like, okay, that's all well and good, but you could have at least said, if it looks like we got inspiration, or if it looks like we stole their idea and all of this, like, that's not the case. We love it. Cashmere, the owner of Beauty Bakery, that level of, I aspire to that level of class. She was like, you know what? Everybody is invited to have a seat at the table, even Huda. Keep it pushing, sweeties. And I was like, this woman is beyond classy. Just wasn't about the foolishness and the fuckery. She was like, if anybody is doing wrong, they will be found out. We don't need to stress ourselves out about this. Let's just keep making makeup. And I was like, yes, I live for you right now. I wish more brands were like that. I wish more brands would just be like, all right, there's controversy out here, we're gonna address it. And going back to Tarte, since I'm using the concealer, when the Outrage came out with their shade range, oh my god, they released an apology via Insta Stories. Now, if you use Insta Stories, it's basically the same thing as Snapchat. Those disappear in 24 hours. So if your people who use your brand do not follow you on Instagram, they wouldn't have known that you released an apology. Like, you needed to post it on all of your social media. Point blank, period. Like, what are you doing? My setting powder is not from a problematic brand, so I'm just going to use it. And y'all can just wonder what it is right now. No shade. I will reveal the setting powder that I have fallen in love with in the Makeup Brands I Stan video. I don't know when I'll be able to film that one, but it is coming soon. Fear not, my beauties. I don't know if I'll ever support Tarte or Huda again. I own more makeup from both brands that I'm showing right now. So maybe I'll make this a series where I do tutorials using all of my stuff, because I do want to use it all up, because there's no sense in throwing it all out. They already have my money. You know, they already cashed the check. They already have the money that I spent on the eyeshadow palettes or the foundation or the powders or whatever, highlighters or lippies. So because we don't waste money in this house, we're going to use these products. How y'all feeling today? So we're going to go, after I finish setting this makeup, And that's the problem. Like, I love this foundation. I truly do. But I just don't know if I can support Huda while she continues to do all of this shady stuff. Like, look at this. I'm gonna come in real quick. Like, I look flawless right now. Now, I am one of those makeup enthusiasts who uses concealer as an eyeshadow base. So I'm trying to project pan some of these items as well, because again, we don't waste money in this house, so might as well use it up as much as possible. It's just incredible. Like, I know that if we dug deep enough, we could find shady stuff that every makeup brand has done, and then none of us would be wearing makeup unless we like cooked it in our kitchens ourselves. But you just have to be aware of where you're spending your money and be an informed consumer. Alright, so because I want the best color payoff, I'm not going to set my eyeshadow base. I usually just go right in. Oh Lord! This is going to cause some drama. This is the Jeffree Star Thirsty palette. Yes, I am a black woman who owns Jeffree Star makeup. I'm also going to be using his lippies. Now, I knew about Jeffree Star before I purchased this, because as you know, this came out this summer. And I actually had to buy it from the Beautylish site because it was sold out on his site almost automatically. I knew about Jeffree Star's Racist Past when I bought this palette and when I bought the lipsticks. But the thing was, I sat down and I watched, actually I am going to set my eyeshadow base, what am I talking about? I sat down and I watched his apology video, and I was like, for a moment of time, I was like, okay, it's just makeup, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, it does matter. We vote with our dollars who we want to support, and if somebody realizes that they're not getting our coin, they sometimes are inspired to create change, not all the time. And now there's the whole Shane Dawson documentary, which I have not watched. It's Labor Day today. I have time today, so I may sit down and watch it after I finish filming and editing. But the thing about it is, now that he has come out and said, let me back up. If you don't know, Jeffree Star was caught on video calling people the N-word. Now, I don't know about you, but I really don't believe that, and it was hard R, and that word is, it brings up so much. And he even said that he used that word knowing that it would cause a certain reaction. So it's like, you knew how powerful and hurtful and derogatory that word was, and you chose to use it. That speaks to your character, whether you wanted to or not. And then with the Shane Dawson documentary, he said that he was saying it to a bunch of white girls because they were calling him the F word. I get it. They're calling you something hateful, so you think of the most hateful thing possible to hit them back with. But that still speaks volumes that that was the word you chose to go to. Honestly, like last year, quick little story time. I wanted to go to RuPaul's Drag Con last year. But once I saw that it was being sponsored, I know I'm going in with a lot of product, but once I saw that it was being sponsored by Jeffree Star, I said, nope, he's getting none of my coin, we're not doing this today. Like, I hadn't bought my ticket, so I was like, no, I'm not going. Absolutely, I think the fuck not. I had a fantasy about walking up to him and telling him that if he really wanted to get back on the good side of the black and brown people, what he needed to do was create a line of products that solely catered to deeper skin tones, kind of like what Huda did with this highlighter I'm about to use, and I'll tell you what went down with that as well. And I was like, and then you use some pretty chocolate girls and some darker skinned girls in the campaign for this launch, and then see what happens from there. I actually had a daydream that I did that, and you know, and me being stupid, just be like, and you know, and throw me in there just for good measure. You know, I don't know if I would have the balls to say that to Jeffree Star. Like he's doing this whole thing on Twitter now because of the Dramageddon, and I'm gonna make a video about my thoughts on that. But like he was like talk to me about smaller creators, and I may fly them out to my house and we can learn from each other and things like that. I was like, if I had the opportunity to tell him that, maybe after a drink or two, I'd be like, you know what I was thinking, sir? I was thinking you might want to roll through. I always put shimmers on with my fingertip, if you're wondering what I'm doing. I was like, if you really want to get people back on your side, make some products, you know, maybe make some highlighters, some nude lippies, you know, something. He's also, I know he's coming out with a foundation, and I think I read somewhere it's going to be 50 shades, something to complement our skin tones, and then see what happens. You know, and some people might be like, oh, well, that'll just be him pandering. First of all, any company, whether makeup, car, video game, movie, any form of media, anything that we consume is pandering because they want our coin. So, you know, and I know that we all want to buy from people who genuinely care about us, about our community, and who are not just using this as a gimmick or whatever. But everything's a gimmick. Everything is a ploy to get us to spend our coin. And the quicker we realize that, I think the better off we will all be. Now, another thing that is kind of why I'm not 100% with, I completely forgive Jeffree Star. That was 13 years ago. I've seen where he is now. I've watched, you know, the documentary. Again, I said I haven't, but you know, this is what people are saying online. They're like, I've watched the documentary. I get it. And it's like, but he's still a bit of a bully. Like, he went after Makeup Shayla. He called both Shayla and Jackie Aina rats. He will go after his fan base. His own fans will say, hey, Jeffree, I have an issue with this product, and then he'll rip them to shreds on Twitter. And it's like, they just came to you as a fan saying, hey, I'm having issues with this product, and you just went off. Like, why are you so confrontational? And again, I get it. Maybe I'd understand more if I watched the 5-part series. But it's like, you know, he was hurt. And it's like, but go to therapy. Like, there's no reason for you to be that reactionary that you're flying off the handle at people that support you. Like, that's an issue. Like, I cannot support you if you're going after your own fans. And I think one of the makeup channels that I follow, well, she's more of a commentary channel, my girl Panic Antics, she said it best. She was like, it's hard to root for him sometimes because he does these things. And it's like, okay, he says he's changed, but then he attacks a fan of his for asking a question about a product. Or like a couple years ago, there was that kid who had a problem with one of his skin frosts and took to Twitter to say, hey, the customer service wouldn't replace my skin frost. And Jeffree was like, how dare you, instead of taking care of this quietly, you had to blast all over social media. Dude, slide in his DMs and be like, let me make this better if my customer service won't. Like, I don't know. There's a girl in my office, we were talking about Jeffree Star, and she went, bleh, you know, and I get it, you know. She's also a black girl, and she's like, Jeffree Star will never get my coin. That's fine. I just really wanted to try the makeup. And I think that's important. Like, I wanted to try the makeup to be like, well, is it even that good? Like, it was pure FOMO. Okay, it's like, let me give him a shot to see if I am missing out on some real good makeup. I love the eyeshadow palettes that I own, okay? I love this Thirsty palette. Like, this shimmer is beyond. I love these mattes. Like, I own the Blood Sugar palette. I own the Androgyny palette. I want him, with all the stuff that's gone down on Twitter last month, I want him to come out with a Karma palette. You know, it's difficult. Like, he is so problematic for so many reasons. And I just want him to be better. Like, there are people who will never forgive him, and that's their right. There are people who are like, no, I'm willing to give him a shot. That's their right, you know. Spend your coin however you want to spend your coin. I'm just saying I need to see some more change from him. And that's not to say that he hasn't done good things. Like, I've seen people, there are people that I follow that follow him, so if he tweets something, it'll come up on my timeline, where somebody was like, I really want the Thirsty palette, but I've got medical bills to pay. And Jeffree was like, send me your bills and I'll pay them. And I'm like, just because somebody tweeted that they couldn't afford your palette, you're like, I'll pay your bills. Oh, okay. So there are things that give me pause. And honestly, like, I haven't seen him lash out lately, but I'm still wary. I'm still wary. So again, I don't have a mascara from a problematic brand, so I'm just going to see, I love the Thirsty palette. So I'm just going to do my mascara. But what do y'all think? Like, there's always some kind of heat whenever you mention J Star, Mr. Star, Jeffree Star. It's either, and it's always 50-50. It's either, how dare, or get over it. You know, you have people who are staunch supporters and people who are just like, I'm never letting his makeup touch my face. And I mean, it's hilarious to me because it does, honestly, like, over this last month since the Shane Dawson documentary has come out, it does seem like he's different because he's opening up. Like, do not come for me. I did subscribe to his channel and I've watched the last few videos that he put up. Like, the first video of his I watched all the way through was the a full face of brands that hate me. And I was like, the shade. I enjoyed it. And then after the documentary, he took some time and then he released this video about secrets that I still want to reveal. And at the end, he talked about reconnecting with his mother. As a woman who I'm coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the loss of my biological mother, and in December, it'll be the 1-year anniversary of losing my mom, the woman who raised me. So that moved me a little bit, more than a little bit. It touched me because he still has his mother. He has a chance to build a relationship with her. And the fact that he's chosen to do that is beautiful. Like, cherish your mothers if you have a wonderful relationship with them. And if you feel inside that you want to build a relationship with them, I'm going off on another different tangent, I'm sorry, but I feel like this is important to say. If you have your mother in your life, if you have a turbulent relationship but you still want to see if you can forge a bond, do it. Because I miss both of my mothers so very much. And that video where Jeffree was talking about his mother finding out that his mother was living in a car and how he's helping her live better in any way that he can. Whew, okay. Back to the focus. So I'm very in the middle. Again, I don't have bronzers from Problematic Brand, so I'm just gonna do this bronzer and y'all gonna like it. Would I love to sit and have tea and maybe smoke a J with J Star to discuss these things? Yeah. Honestly, like if I had the opportunity, I would. Just to be like, all right, let's talk to a black girl about all this, you know? Let's sit down and have a conversation. And I honestly think that that would do wonders for him. Like if he honestly sat down with a chocolate girl like myself and we had an open conversation, like this is why this, like, you know why this was hurtful, but this is why certain people feel a type of way about you. I'm pretty sure he knows, but, and maybe it would just be good PR, don't care. This highlighter palette, when this, look at these colors, like, I live for this. When this highlighting palette came out, a beauty influencer by the name of Kristen Leanne went on Twitter and was like, anybody of a lighter skin tone cannot use any of these shades. Pretty much, WTF is up with that. And we're like, okay, I own every Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit except the Moonchild. Except the Moonchild and the Aurora palette. I own the Amrezy highlighter. I own so many, like, I don't need any other highlighters. There are so many options for lighter skin tones for highlighters. And the fact that you are on a public platform going on about how you can't use one, like, and again, so many people have said it, well, use these as eyeshadows. Like, a lot of makeup has a dual purpose. Like, I've seen people use liquid lipsticks as eyeliners. I've chosen not to do that today, but be innovative, be creative. Like, for so long, we have had to fight and finesse for products that work on our skin. And that was the biggest drama with this palette. So it wasn't necessarily Huda. I actually thank her for, and she even said it in the reveal video where she was like, this palette was made to cater to deeper skin tones. I am loving this palette. I don't use this palette enough, honestly. But I will show you the highlighter I use. I'm going to use Jeffree Star Designer Blood. And I think I've spoken enough about Jeffree Star. So let me just finish this look here. This has been fun. This is actually the second tutorial get ready with me type thing I've ever filmed. And for some reason, I don't know why I think I can talk and put on lipstick at the same time. Hold on, y'all. See, look how rich this color is. I love it. Oh, I live. But this was the second, like, get ready with me type style video that I've done, and this was a lot easier than the first time around. Alright, so here we have the finished look. Feeling extra spicy today, using all this problematic makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I know that there are a million beauty channels that you could have checked out today. I humbly thank you for coming to slay.